Hi guys, one of the most important things with owning a suspension bike is making sure the suspension is set up correctly. What I always find amazing is, even going to races like the Epic, is you'll get guys who spent a fortune on time and effort getting ready for the race, and when you look at the bike, their suspension is a disaster. There is either no air in it, it's totally rock solid, and that just defeats the object of having the bike that they're riding. It's a really simple process, and what I'm going to go through now is just showing you what's involved and how to do it. Pretty much all you need for the setup is a shock pump, and what I suggest is getting a little stool or a crate or something just to stand on, and you'll see why in a moment. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that all the suspension is in open mode. So if you have a remote lockout, make sure it's all the way open, and if you have a rear shock with the adjustable levers, make sure it's in its open mode, not lockout. Very important. We're going to get on the bike. I always like to do it next to a wall or something I can lean on. So I'm simply standing on the bike, bouncing around a bit. Sit on the saddle as if you're riding. And the key here now is you'll see there's a little O-ring on the side of the fork. You're going to push that all the way down to the stanchion, to the lower leg, sorry, and then same on the rear shock. Right, the key here now is to get off the bike without bouncing or touching or putting any weight in the handlebars, and that is what the stool is for. So literally getting off very lightly, and you can see the bike springing up. There we go. Right, so step one is done. So the two things we're going to look at is how much the O-ring has moved. That is your sag, how much the shock is sagged. You can see on the fork there how much the fork is sagged. As a rule of thumb, on a 100mm bike, which is by far the most common bicycle on the market, I would suggest 10mm of sag. Fox and most manufacturers work it in percentages, 20%, 30%. It's just really quite confusing. So to simplify it, for the average guy, you want to get a good balanced bike, 10mm of sag. Looking at these results, I can tell I definitely need to put some more air in the fork and a little bit more in the rear. So we've adjusted the pressure now, put a bit more air in, and so we're going to go through the same process again and double check the sag. So once again, just bounce on the bike, sit down, reset the O-rings, and again very carefully get off the bike. So when you look at the sag now, front and rear, we're nearly spot on. We're really near that 10mm sag setup. What you can do is, if you're a very light rider, you can run a little bit more sag, and if you're heavier, you could run maybe down to 8mm sag. It's quite a small number. We're talking millimeter increments, but it makes a big difference. But as a rule of thumb, 10mm really gives you a good balanced setup.